Thank you everybody for joining this session. And so the thing is that um, like I want you guys to so this session today is going to be a case study, right? So this is more directed towards people who want to have a career in analytics, or perhaps who already have a career in analytics, but kind of want to see how it works in the real industry, right? So that is going to be the focus of this session. And without much ado, let me share some slides. And guys, if you do have questions in the middle, go ahead and interject. You can use the chat or you can just speak out. No question is silly, first of all. Okay, if you are looking to break into analytics, you have to come up with all sorts of questions. And trust me, people will not clarify those questions if you don't ask. So you are most welcome to ask questions. And basically the intention here is to so basically what I have noticed is that there's a lot of tutorials available online on data analytics, business intelligence, awesome shit, right? But the problem is that there are not enough resources that tell you how it happens end to end. So for instance, if you're looking to break into a company, or if you're already working in a data analytics company, it is not just enough to Google or YouTube topics or learn topics and how it's done. I mean, it is definitely very useful to do that. I encourage you to do that. But the thing is, at some point of time, you would need to know how it works end to end, just to kind of put everything together. So this session, this masterclass today is kind of do that. It is a simulation of the real world business as a workflow as it happens. So without much ado, let me get to the next slide. So about me. So my name is Arpit Sarkar, and I am currently working as a data analyst at Sunlight. Prior to Sunlight, as Pratibha said, I was in Accenture. So I like learning new things and all. So I am Tableau Desktop certified. I have a certification in Google Data Analytics, professional certificate. I have 2 certifications in Oracle Cloud. I have the foundations and associate in that. I am certified in the Google Analytics individual qualification, as well as the Strato BI. As far as the domain experience goes, I have a certification in the FLMI Level-1, which is a certification for life insurance. And most importantly, I'm passionate about analytics and data visualization, right? And I think that you people are too. So I think that's going to be good. Okay, let's go ahead. So when we talk about data visualization, right? So first of all, data analytics. Can anybody tell me what is data analytics? I know this is a very cliched question. You might have heard this question a lot, but really, I want you guys to answer. Can anybody answer what is data analytics to you? You don't have to give a perfect answer, just what it means.
Sir, yeah, sure. Data analytics happens when we have the data in the format of rows and columns, and it is in tabular form first of all, and after that we used to visualize those data with the help of BI tools like Power BI and Tableau, so that we know the insights that what the data actually tries to shows.
That is that's a great answer. Thank you for that. That's correct. So tell me one thing. Why are we trying to get information out of data? I mean, what's the point? Anybody?
So yeah, sure. Can I answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, we will analyze that how it shows in timely basis, means the time series data. We will try to analyze the time series data. So let's say we have the sales figure, and we need to analyze that what were the previous sales in previous years, like 2014, 2015, 16, 17. So we will analyze those by line graph also, maybe by column charts and pie charts, column charts necessarily. So that will give us the clarity that what are the sales figures in the previous years.
Okay, fine. So you gave an example.
Yes.
I really like that, and I think it's very important to kind of explain the concept in terms of example. I think you did excellent, and as you said, yes, it is important to kind of get the insight of what is underneath and underlying that particular data, because I think her data kuch kehta hai, which means that there is no data which does not give you any information, and the more information that you have, the more you can learn about that particular situation, that particular product, anything, and the more better stuff you can do with it. So let's go on to what is on the screen, the Gestalt principle. Has anybody heard of this? Anybody heard of the Gestalt principles? Yes, no?
No, sir. So
That,
there was
yeah, go ahead.
so there was a second also, like Gestalt principle is that second is like a black horse, I think, black horse principles. So what black horse principles are there? That less information, I think, less is more, and there are the three major points of the black horse principles also. Have you
Mhm.
heard it, sir?
I've heard of it. I've heard of it. That less is
Yeah.
more.
Ah,
I mean, would you like to share it if you have it handy in front of you?
no,
That's
there
okay.
are there are only three major points of the black holes that I know, but I don't remember those 3 points currently.
That is okay. That's okay. It's good that you remember. But yes, definitely, that is one of the principles of the data visualization. But Gestalt principle is more geared towards the UX side, the user experience, not not dedicatedly towards data visualization. I mean, definitely data visualization, but it is more of a UX principles set of principles. So first of all, you have the good figure, which means that objects grouped together tend to be perceived as a single figure, right? So for instance, when you have certain charts, right, and you have those bars in the charts, you know that these 6 7 bars that you can see belong to the same chart. They reflect the same KPIs. That's going to happen. So that is the good figure. Then we have the similarity. Objects tend to be grouped together if they are similar, right? We know this. Then we have the closure, visual connection or continuity between such elements which do not actually touch each other in a composition. So one way to explain this would be, and actually this is used in the demo that I'll be presenting to you. So have you, for instance, noticed this particular figure? This is like a flower, right? There are 4 petals, but these petals are not joining each other. But instantly, even though there's a big gaping square in the middle, white square, you know that this represents a flower or that particular symmetry. So that's what it means. Uh, it means to kind of not show certain patterns because what it does is it enhances the information that you already have, right? So it enhances the information that you already have and makes it much easier to kind of understand the information that is in front of you by eliminating certain parts. Then we have the proximity of this tend to group together if they are close to each other. This is also quite self-explanatory. We have the continuation when there is an intersection between two or more objects. People tend to perceive each object as a single uninterrupted object. Then we have the symmetry. The object tends to be perceived as symmetrical shapes that form around the center. This is also kind of important. So people generally, so in data visualization, we generally want things to be symmetrical because to be honest, it just looks good. As human beings, we have this kind of instinct towards symmetry. Things which are not symmetrical, they are not aesthetic to us. Okay. Okay. Now moving on to the case study. So let's suppose that you receive this email from leadership. Why leadership? So first of all, unlike other fields in software engineering, data analytics. So first of all, unlike other fields, what data analytics does is um, you have to report to the top management, right? So as a data analyst, your work would be to bring out insights or enable others to do so. And as a result of that, you would be reporting to the top executives of the company, or maybe the top management people of the company, you know. And because so it's a very high risk, kind there are many risks involved, right? Because you are the one ultimately supplying the information on the basis of which they will be taking all of their decisions. So there is a lot at stake. So so that's why data, when you're working as a data analyst or when you're working as a BI engineer, it is a little bit stressful, but I promise you it is worth it, because you're working with the top people out there. Your stakeholders are very important, and basically you are the one who's going to supply them information that will make them help make crucial decisions. And and just understand the kind of pressure that puts on you, right? And the responsibilities, the extent of responsibilities that you have. Because so many things are depending on you. Uh, so let's say that you get this mail from the leadership. So the Zomato team is saying, so the subject is Zomato executive dashboard for quarterly town hall. Everybody knows what's a town hall. Periodic company meetings, review meetings. I think everybody would know that. And for those who don't, well, it's a new term for you. And so basically, what is an executive dashboard? You have heard of dashboards, right? So dashboards are a space where you have KPIs, metrics coming together that gives you an overall big picture or a drill down information of the relevant product or the relevant scenario, right? So if the Zomato executive, so it's the subject is Zomato executive dashboard for the quarterly town hall. It says, "Hi, analytics team. As intimated earlier, please find attached the dataset. Kindly go through the same and extract insights primarily around the restaurant count, food preferences, affordability, rating, etc." So let's have a look at this dataset. So I will be opening the dataset right now. And by the way, this dataset is publicly available on Kaggle. Feel free to play around, feel free to download it, feel free to play around with it. And it is an excellent dataset, and we'll be building some insights from this right now. So basically, this is the data set. Let's have a look at the metadata, right? You know what's a metadata? It's data about the data. So basically, what kind of column is what kind of a data type is it? So we have the restaurant ID, and there are around 8,600 of these. We have the restaurant name, country code, state, city, address, locality, the verbose, latitude, longitude, cuisines. We have the average cost for two. We have the currency. Does it have table booking? Does it have online delivery? Is it delivering now? Switch to order, price range, with what is the aggregate rating of the restaurant, the rating text, and the votes it has received. So we won't be using all of these. We'll be just using the ones that have been requested. So this is pretty much the data that we have. We'll be keeping the sheet open because it's handy to analyze the data. So let's see what the mail is saying. Please include zonal analysis also, as well by state and city. So we saw state and city, right? We didn't see the zone. The zone means north zone, south zone, etc. We'll come to that. Kindly schedule a demo when you have the dashboard ready, and we can further discuss on it. Feel free to connect if you have questions. Thanks, Edgar, Chief Marketing Officer. Okay, so you will receive mails like this. If you notice, the requirements are not, well, they're not super clear, right? You have an indication of what is going to happen, but they're not pretty much super clear. So let's go ahead and draw some KPIs out of it. So this is like Kaggle, and so this is the data set. And just to add on to the fronts, I have added some columns here also, such as the state. And so I have added that column just to kind of make it a little more complex, a little more interesting. If you don't want to add it, that's fine. If you want to add it, that's great. But I encourage you to download the data set and try it out. Right. So let's go back to PPT. So according to this, we can kind of point out to some KPIs that we want to show. KPIs are key performance indicators. So we have the number of restaurants. We can take the number of cities, the number of cuisine. And they wanted the cost, right? How expensive is it? The affordability. So we have the average cost for two. By state, we can take the rating by zone, cost and rating relationship. whether they have online delivery and the preferred cuisines. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There are literally scores of metrics you can get from this data set, and you can relate with them. But for this purpose, we have narrowed it down to these KPIs. Yeah. So let's create this. Let me take this file to Tableau. I will drag it to Tableau, and I will open it. So we have the Zomato. By the way, if you guys are familiar with Tableau, awesome. If you're not, I would encourage you to watch it because we'll be going through the basically, you can learn the tool anywhere. It's basically tool agnostic, data analytics is tool agnostic, but you can learn the tool anywhere, but it's basically the mindset that I'm interested to demonstrate. Okay, so we have our data set here. And since there is one particular KPI by state, I will be adding a shape file, a spatial file to this, right? So let me take a spatial file. And by the way, the spatial file is available on the internet. You just type India states spatial file and you will get it. It's a 300 MB zip file. You can take that. So click on spatial file. I have it somewhere on in my downloads folder. Let me check. Maps, master, yes. Let's go to state. And by the way, I will be speed dashboarding because developing a dashboard in the corporate world takes a few days, right? But we'll be doing it here in 2 hours. So I'll be doing things a bit fast, and I hope you can catch up. But do let me know if something is not clear. So this is the admin.shape file, and I'll be attaching it to my Zomato. So when you are drawing a relation, when you're declaring a relationship between two data sets, right, you need to provide what is the common field between them. Right? So we saw that there is a field called state here, and here also there is a field called state name. We'll be joining both of them. And there you go. There we have it. So let's go on to the first sheet.
Hello.
Yes.
Sorry, sir. Sorry for interruption. So can you little more please explain about the relationships?
Relationships?
Yes, sir. How it is established and what happened on the back end?
That will take a little bit of time. And
so if it is possible, then please.
Yeah, it will take a bit of time. So I do want to get along with the dashboard, but I'll give you a brief review. So basically, a relationship is so basically, if you want to extract data, right, and you have two different data sets, what you want is if there are fields common in one data set, if there are some common in both data sets, right, and you want to display information that interlinks both data sets, you have to declare it in the form of a relationship, right? So basically, that's what I have done in this. We have the Zomato table, and then we have the admin to shapefile table. So in that shapefile table, we can see that there are two columns, right? One is the state name and the geometry. And in the Zomato, we have a shape. So we have said that, you know what, there is a field called shapefile. I want you to map the state field from Zomato and the admin2.shape. I want you to map it so that when we show something for admin, when we show that field for admin, that corresponding mapped information can also be shown for the Zomato.
Okay.
So basically, in a nutshell, that's what I can tell you. But I encourage you to look up the videos on relationships online. So earlier they used to have this physical layer, right? They used to have mostly joins, but now the relationship is so much better. Join and when they had earlier, but now this is so much better. So let's go ahead and go ahead with the KPIs. Yeah.
Sir, just a minute. Sorry for interruption. Sir, can you just show the steps that how you connect this with the second data set? You have the one.
Yeah, sure. So let me delete it, right?
Yeah. Okay.
In fact, let me also remove Zomato.
Okay, sir.
I'll show it from the beginning. So you have the Zomato file, right? You know what?
Correct.
So you have the Zomato file, you have added it. Can I move this? Yes, I can. So when we add the Zomato file over here, you will get this particular thing. So we double click on Zomato to bring it on the stage. So when we bring it on the stage, this is the Zomato file. Now what we want is, we know that there is this shape file. So we add a connection. So we click on add. We say go to a spatial file, and I go to my field, and we have this map. So I have included this as a connection, but as of now, there is no relationship between the two. That is what I have to do. So I have added this. So you can see this is the Zomato data set, and these are the tables within the Zomato, and this is the spatial file, and this is the table within the spatial file. I will take this and draw a relationship.
Right.
Yeah, and now it's going to say something is wrong. What is wrong? I have not declared what is common between them. So I'm going to say, you know what, get a state, and there's also a state name. I'm going to select this. So does that resolve the error? Let me see. It does resolve the error. So we're good. So let's go to sheet one, and the first KPI that we are going to have is the number of restaurants. So you know what, let me just create a calculator tool, because that's going to save me a lot of time. I'm going to say number of restaurants, and
Thank you so much, sir.
hey, no problem. So count of restaurant ID. We saw that there is a restaurant ID, right? And this is unique. So we just need to count the number of restaurant IDs in order to get the number of restaurants. So we can do this. We click on OK. And there we have it. We have the number of restaurants. So we can drag this field onto text. 8652. Is that how much we have? Yes, it is. So you see, I'm also cross-checking the data. I'm also cross-checking whether Tableau is giving me the correct information. You should always do that. And let's just make it a little bit bigger. Let me simplify this. Let's go. And I'll make this bigger. Let's say font size 18. And what kind of, okay, let it be Tableau. If I get the entire group, it's going at the center. Perfect. Okay, so let me name this number of restaurants. Restaurant. Similarly, the next would be the number of cities. So the executive want to know, what is the spread of Zomato in other cities? How many cities it's spread across? So I'm going to duplicate this tab, and let me see, is there a city? Yes, there is. And I will just replace it with the cities. This is not the format I want in, so I will just count the number of cities. I will just count the number of cities. So I will do count. But it's saying that it's 8652 cities. Is that possible? No, this is a wrong answer. So now you have to think, why has this happened? Because it is counting the number of cities duplicate times, right? It is so multiple times. Sorry. So you have different cities over here, right? It's counting it multiple times. What you want to do in this case is you want to do a count distinct. So 43 unique cities. Perfect. This is, let's see the number of cities. Okay. Then we can probably do number of cuisines. Number of cuisines. Is this the correct spelling of cuisine? It is not. Cuisines. Okay. So now if we see over here, let's go to cuisines. Right? So each restaurant has multiple lines of cuisines, multiple cuisines out here. So this is in a single set, in a single value, right? So we can't have it in this form. So what we need to do is we need to, so it has a delimiter. You can see that there is a comma delimiter here. We need to separate into different columns on the basis of the delimiter. So how do you do that? You select this column, you go to data, you go to text to columns, and then you select the delimiter. So I do not want to change the structure of this table. So I already have it over here. So it's going to look like this. You have the restaurant ID, you have the cuisines, separated by the delimiter. And so in some restaurants you have 3 or 4 food items, some you have 8. That's what pretty much we have. And what I will do is I will also take this in the form of a relationship. I will add this in a data source. But this is not the form I wanted in, because this is giving me separate columns. I do not want separate columns. I just want one single column, right? That this is the food, this is the name of the food. What will I do with so many columns? So I can use pivot. Let's go to the data source, and we're going to add yet another data file, data connection, and let's go back to my folder, and this will be cuisine. I am going to connect it with the Zomato. And Tableau is intelligent, so it has sorted out the relationship on its own. That is awesome. But still, I can't use it in this form. So if you see this cuisine table, it's still in the column. I can't use it in this form. I need to pivot it. So let me select all of the cuisines, and I am going to pivot this. It means changing the rows to column, and changing the columns to rows. So that's what it is. So this field is not important here. I'm going to write main. It's not important. This is very important. The one on the right is extremely important to me. So I am going to write this. Yeah. So now that I have it, I have my data structure pretty much ready. Now, since I'm using Tableau Public, I want to save this. Initially, I will be doing some periodic saves. What is happening? Okay, fine. It's going to create an extract. It's going to create a hyper file, and then I can save it. So let me Zomato executive dashboard, or rather Zomato dashboard. I'm going to save it. It'll take a little bit of time. Till then, let's have a look at data sheet to see what we can do with the other. I want to deal with the cost of the two, right? So for each restaurant, it's given cost of two. And the mail said that we want to do it by state. So we want to find out for each. So I want it in terms of the state, right? So let's open a new sheet, and let's open state. Sorry. So let me go to the sheet file. So there is a geometry. And if I double click on it, the map of India will appear. Like there's nothing on it. It's pretty blank. It's just a simple map of India. And what I will do is I will take the state that we have in the Zomato. I'll put it in detail. So if I hover over it, at least I can see something. Yep, there we go. And then we take the average cost for 2, and we place it here. We do not want the sum, we want the average. So let me select the average from here. And this is pretty much what you can see. And wow, things like in Rajasthan, things are quite expensive. In Telangana also, as in West Bengal and Goa. Whereas in UP, you can see it's quite inexpensive. And we do not have any data for Kashmir for J&K as well as Chhattisgarh, the Northeast, pretty much the Northeast, Andaman and Nicobar, but they are still incorrectly colored. That is one flaw of Tableau. So what I will do is let me filter this out. So let me say that. So let me go to the filters and say that I want at least something. I can't have states with no values. So at least something. So if I do OK, it is going to filter out these states. These are no longer colored or highlighted. And plus, I don't really like the color. So let's go to colors. You can go with the diversion reverse. So the more expensive it is, the more on the red side it is. You can instantly tell that there is something wrong with the states which are in red, whereas the ones which are in green are doing better. So this is the average cost per tool. So from here on, I'll be doing things a little bit fast. There's a lot to cover. So this is the average cost per tool that we have. I would also like, so this is giving a state right analysis, but what if we can also have an overall number, right? So let's also say average cost for tool. And BN stands for big aggregate number. I can give whatever title I want. So let's take the average cost for tool. And we can place it here in the text. 623. Yep. This has to be in rupees, right? So, I mean, this has to be in rupees. So let me format it. Which we gonna formatting? Yes, let me go to plain and I will format it in the form of currency. Now it's in rupees. This is much better. Let me remove the decimal place. That's okay. Executives don't want that. You don't necessarily want this. Let me also format this. And remove the decimals. 623 is pretty self-explanatory. And let me get this in the middle and the size a little bigger. 18 is fine. This is good. Okay. Moving on to the next metric, we want what we want. We wanted the average rating by zone. But here's the thing: we don't have zone here. We don't have zone anywhere on this data set. We have state, we have cities. We don't have zone. But this is an additional requirement from the management, right? From the leadership. That is okay. We can deal with this. So let's go to state and we can divide this on the basis of zones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a group and I'm going to name this zone. So we have North Zone, South Zone, Central, West, and East. So let's talk about the North Zone. I have Bihar, Delhi, and let me know if I miss out anything. Haryana, Punjab, UP, Uttarakhand. Let's group this as North. Then we have the South Zone, so Andhra, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Telangana. Oh, also Karnataka. Group this as South Zone. So we have North Zone and South Zone. Now we want the West Zone. So for West Zone, we have Gujarat, Goa, Rajasthan, West Zone. Then we have East Zone, which means Assam, Odisha, West Bengal, East Zone. And last but not the least, Maharashtra should be West Zone. And West. And the Jharkhand and Madhya Pradesh, we have the East. Oops. All right, there we have it. We have created a group. And now what I want is I will go and I will create a sheet called the average rating. I will bring my zone into it. I will bring my zone into it and let me bring the average rating. sorry, aggregate. So this is what it looks like. Oh, this is the sum. I want the average. There you have it. 3.79, and this is too much information. I probably don't want that much. Number custom, 2 digits is fine. Let's have it in the form of bar chart. This is a bar chart, and I will keep sending orders, and let's also color code it. And let's use that green red combo that we were using. Right? Let's use that. Red green diverging. So the greener it is, it means it's better, right? So we can click on OK. Instantly, you can say that this one is performing very well. It has an average rating of 4.14 per restaurant. That is amazing. There is something seriously wrong. I mean, what is the rating? It's 2.43 average. It's not performing. It's performing way below par, right? So we can see that, and they will appreciate it. The executives will appreciate this, right? We don't. So this was the average rating. And now let's find out the relationship between cost and rating. We have seen cost, we have seen rating. Now let's see what's the relationship between the two. Maybe it is that costlier restaurants are better rated, maybe it's that. Maybe it's something else. Let's see. So we can find out cost, average cost for 2. Double click on this. Then we have the rating. We double click on the rating, and we want to see we do want to see a scatter plot for this. So let's go to ID, restaurant ID. Let's place this in the detail. And there you have it. Let's flip this around. Let me color code by rating. Again, our favorite red green. I'm going to revert. Yep, this is fine. I can't really tell if there is a trend. Let me get a trend line in here. Yeah, so it's not a strict trend, but definitely as things get more expensive, the rating does tend to marginally improve a little. For instance, when for cheaper restaurants, you can either have excellent reviews or you can have very poor reviews. But as things go on increasing, it generally tends to be on the side of better reviews. This is what you can find out this trend, right? But we can see some outliers here. This is the average cost for 2. So they are rated 0, but they can also be cheap or expensive. So what's up with this data? There seems to be something wrong. There's a huge gap between this. So you have to investigate this outlier as a data analyst. So let's do that. Let's find out what is this? What are these values with rating 0? These are not rated. I mean, that is wrong. These are not rated. So, I mean, it's fine if they're not rated, but that doesn't mean their average rating is 0. This is incorrect. So the data is not very clean, right? So what can we do as a data analyst? We have to see that, this is sending the wrong message. We want to exclude these particular values from this chart because we don't want to include the wrong values, right? So what I do is I will set the restaurant ID as a filter, and I will say, let's go to condition, and I will say, what? Take the rating, take the aggregate rating, and consider only those fields which are greater than 0. The ones which are 0, they are not giving you the correct information. And instantly, these ones will be filtered. So now you have the true trend in front of you. This is the true. And what can I write? Cost. Cost. This is the relationship between the cost and rating, this scatter plot. Right? So you can see this is the trend which is going. And let's move on to the next metric, which will be, what was it? Online delivery. So we are interested in finding out, how many deliveries are carried out online. So there can be a yes or no answer. Can anybody tell me what would be a good chart to visualize this? So there is a field here called whether the restaurant is delivering or not. The values are yes or no. What would be the field that what would be the choice of my visualization for this? Any idea?
So what are the fields?
So basically, this is the field. Does it have online delivery? So it's yes or no. For each restaurant, it has this. So it can either be a yes or no. So how can I represent it? What would be a good visualization? You can. There are multiple good great answers, but what would be your preference? That's what I'm asking.
So bar can be.
It can be, but I want to show the percentage.
Okay, pie chart.
Excellent answer, pie chart. But here's the thing about pie charts: it's generally frowned upon in the industry. So let me do something. Let me use a donut chart, which is virtually the same as pie chart, but it's a little more dignified. So is what was the option? Is there online delivery? On delivery. What? And let me take out this online delivery, colored, and that number of restaurants that I've stocked that field I had clicked earlier. I will get some size. I will click on pie chart, and there we have it. So if I take it label, okay, so the executives would be interested in hearing this. You know, some of them are no, I mean, most of them are no, some of them are yes. So maybe this is an area of improvement for them, possibly. But I'm interested in getting the percentage. So what I can do is I can go to so I can move this to label, right? And I can do a quick table calculation percentage of so 72% of them are no, 28% say yes. I don't need that kind of precision. So let me just move. I don't need that kind of precision, right? Like two decimal places. I mean, one is sufficient. So number standard, sorry, percentage, and I'll set this to 0. Yes, 20%, no, 72%. The overwhelming number of restaurants do not deliver. And I mean, this is definitely new for me. I assume that the people the outlets on Zomato did actually deliver. Well, they don't. So this is definitely a useful insight. And we can change the colors. So for yes, it becomes green. For no, it becomes red. But then I don't want a pie chart. I want a donut chart. So let's make this a donut chart. So I'm going to make two axes right now. I'm going to make two axes, and I will be combining both of them. I will do an axis in both of them. Let me ensure that they are in sync. I'll be removing, for the second pie chart, I will be removing everything, and I will change the color to white to blend with my background. Oh, where did it go? it didn't go anywhere. I will just increase the size, and there you have it. So this is my donut chart. I do not need this header. So my donut chart is ready. That's a good thing. On yeah.
So please repeat this step for the donut chart, please.
Absolutely. So I will show you again. So do you know how to build a pie chart in Tableau? If you don't, that's perfectly fine. So I want to deliver it. So let's go to pie chart, and it says that I need one or more dimensions, and I need one or more measures. So I do have one dimension, I do have one measure, which is very lucky, isn't it? So I will take online delivery and get it to color. And that field, that measure that we were talking about, the number of restaurants, I will take it and get it to size. This is not a pie chart. So let's get it to pie. And there we have a pie chart, right? Now, what is a donut chart? It is a glorified pie chart. So basically, what we will do is get the entire view. What we will be doing is we'll be creating two fake accesses, artificial accesses. So I'll be clicking 0 here and 0 here. You can take any number, not 0. I'm just saying 0 because it's the nearest number to my keyboard. You can take any number, that's totally fine. So we have two similar pie charts, two different columns. If you add it to column, two different axes open up, right? So for one axis, we just remove everything we don't want. The second axis makes it a little bit bigger. And also remove the color from the second axis. So this is white. This is this. So if I place this in on top of this, it's going to look like a donut chart, right? That is basically the logic. So if I click on dual axis, it combines both of them, and here we have the donut chart. It is still a pie chart. It is two pie charts and one white pie chart superimposed on a colored pie chart, but it looks like a donut chart. That's pretty much how we create a donut chart.
Thank you so much, sir.
No problem. Okay. By the way, any other doubts or queries that you have, or maybe Arpit, why did you do it this way? You could have done it that way. At this point.
Sir, just a simple question. Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, how can we create a beautiful dish which you are making and uploading it onto your account in LinkedIn?
Yes, that is very important. I think I will cover that in the end because I think that's a very important question. I'll definitely cover that during the end. Because that part that you said uploading on LinkedIn. I cannot tell you how important that is. That is very important. Your job depends on it. I'll tell you. So I definitely tell it to you, but let's complete it for now. So online delivery, the ones which are delivering, I will give them. Didn't I color it? Okay. Yeah.
Red and green.
Yeah. Yes is green. No is red. And I will add a white border. Make it pretty. There we have it. So online delivery, yes, we have it. Now let's talk about our favorite cuisines, right? So for this, I preferred cuisine. Let me write preferred cuisine. So preferred cuisine. So now remember we added this cuisine chart, right? So what we can do is we can list down these cuisines which are their cuisine names, and we can list down the ratings they have. Average. We have null, we are not interested in this, so let's exclude this. If we separate this, you can see all of these different cuisines are there, and they have received these ratings, right? So looks like Persian is at the top of the table. Great. Let's make this a bar chart. But as a data analyst or as a visualization person, you want to do something different, right? So what you can do is instead of using a simple bar chart, since there are many variations of bar chart, let's use a progress chart, which means that so these are star ratings, right? So out of this 4.6 star, 4.3, out of 5 star, this is this. So let's display the whole of, let's display this as a part of the 5 star. So for this, let me create another fake axis, and this time I will be taking the average of 5. So I have another column over here of bar chart, and this has the value of only 5. So I will change the color to this. Yeah, pretty decent. And then I will combine the axis. dual axis. Oopsies. I will change this to bar again. And I will place this in front of the other one so that now I can. And let's have a look at the color. So the average one we are taking, what did we take? We took some kind of gray, right? Let's take some kind of a mild gray, just to indicate that it's not important. This is not telling the table. This is the one telling the table. And let's make it red. On this side. Well, not red. Let's make it green. How does it look now? Good. 4.6 out of 5. And there is something wrong though. I mean, this green is almost at 5, but I'm showing that it's 4.6. So I have definitely made a mistake here. What is the mistake? Can anybody tell me? I'll explain the problem again. So it tells, so this gray chart is the 5-star, right? This green chart is the actual rating. The top chart over tells me that the rating is 4.6, but it shows that it has a 5-star rating. Why? This is obviously wrong, but why? Can anybody tell me what mistake I have made?
So I think it is due to we have plotted this on dual axis, and the bottom axis is the maximum point is 5-star, but on the top axis it is 4.5.
That's so awesome observational skills. Yes, that is the correct answer. So basically, these two are not aligned axes. So I have to synchronize them, and as I synchronize them, both of them get aligned. So this is the correct. So that was the correct answer. Thank you for that. And then we also would need the label. So let's get the label in here. Somewhere around the center. The label somewhere around the center. And again, we don't need that kind of precision after the decimal. 2 is fine. So this is the rating for each of these. So let's remove the headers. I don't need this, but also executives don't have time to read all of these. They don't have time to read that the Armenian is the worst performing cuisine or Afghani is the worst performing cuisine. They don't have time to review all of the list. They want the top values. So what we want to do is you want to have the top value. So let's create a field called index. We want to filter only the top value. Top 10, let's say. So index, and I will be creating, and I'll be adding the index function over here. What index does is it ranks on the basis of the measure that you have. It ranks your value. So if I put index onto the filters, and I say that give me only from 1 to 10. There are 90 items right now, but give only from 1 to 10. The top 10 rated. It is going to do exactly that. It removes everything else. It hides the ones below, doesn't remove, doesn't exclude. It hides the ones below and keeps only the ones at the top. So these are the top 10 food items that we have in the entire list. Okay. So I think we are done with all of our charts. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. There are 9, sorry, and it's pretty good to create dashboard. So now the focus is on creating dashboard. I will save it to Tableau Public because it's a good practice. Any questions while this is saving? Or any comments, any suggestions? Okay, so now we come to the most favorite part, which is dashboarding. Now we have created these different charts, and we have to put it together on a single dashboard. And that is the part I find most exciting. So let's create a dashboard. So let's name this dashboard the executive dashboard. And this is where you have to get it all together. So it's okay. It's kind of easy creating the charts, creating the different worksheets. But on the dashboard is where it all matters, because top company executives are going to be seeing what you have delivered. They're going to be basing their decisions on the stuff that you see on the screen. So let me take the size of the dashboard. This is, I don't want this, I want to fix it. So let me fix it to my favorite 1350 by 700. The intention is not to let them scroll a lot or at all, if possible. Right. So we are not going to let them scroll. There'll be a little bit scrolling on the workspace, but on the server side, it will not. So now we have this set to 1350 by 700. So what is it going to look like? It's going to look something like this. Okay. So let me do something. Let me figure out how I'm going to do this. So typically in the corporate, we do this by wireframing, which means that we create an outline of what we are going to design. The outline has to be approved by your team lead or the visualization manager or the analytics manager, and the stakeholders will like it, and we go ahead with it. So I don't really have time for wireframing right now, but I'll show you how it's done. So basically, what we do is we are going to start placing a vertical container over here, and this is going to be tied. So every time, so when you drop an object or a container on your Tableau dashboard, it is either tied or it is floating. So if it's floating, which means you can move it around, that means no, it is fixed in that position. You cannot move it around. So let's go ahead and first of all, what I like to draw a border. So this is going to be the border of your dashboard. Right? And since you have created a vertical container, and just every time you do something, keep on moving to the layout. You will see me moving to this layout a lot, because this is very important. I'll be referring whether I am dropped into the correct location or not, like by looking at this. So since you have dropped a container, let me drop a blank here, and as well as a horizontal container. I'm dropping a lot of containers because I like to do things with containers. It holds your charts in place. So how about 60? Is 60 good enough? I think it's good enough. Yep. And over here, we are going to add text. And in that text, we are going to write.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sir. In this page, you have added first horizontal, and after that, you are adding the text on it, right?
Yes. So why we add horizontal is horizontal container. So if you see the horizontal containers, you can see the icon that there are two squares beside adjacent to each other, right? It means if I can place stuff on this adjacent to each other inside a horizontal container. Whereas a vertical container, look at this vertical container. So inside the vertical container, I have one thing, and then on beneath that, I have another thing. That's what vertical container means. I can place things on top of each other, right? And horizontally, I can place things at each other's side, adjacent to each other. So if I want to drop a text over here, let's say, inside a horizontal container, I also want to add something other than the text. So let's try Zomato executive. Let me place it center. I want to use this font for Trebuchet because I love this font. It's amazing, and get it to 16. And this has to be black. Zomato executive dashboard. There we have it. I would still like to add the um, logo over here to make it a bit interesting. So now since I have added this in a horizontal container, it means that over inside this horizontal container, I can have something apart from this text. So I will now add the logo over here just to make it more interesting. And we can choose file. So I don't need to center. I'll add this logo over here. Let me edit the width of the logo to 150. Oops, I made it 50. Let me make it 150. Does this look okay? Yep, this is sufficiently fine. Okay, so this is my title bar, and I will just change the color ever so slightly. I will change the color ever so slightly just to kind of just that it is a little bit different from the rest of the dashboard. So I have the title bar and pretty much everything below that. So I had the blank as a placeholder. So instead of that, let me place a vertical container here. So let me place a vertical container here and remove the blank. I don't need this. So the reason I have placed a vertical container is, and remember what a vertical container is, right? You can place things side by side. Sorry, you can place things on top of each other. So okay, I actually took it on. I need to add another horizontal container. So let's remove this one. So I'll just do undo. I will remove the vertical container from here. I will add another horizontal. Yeah, this is fine. I will remove the dashboard. So what my intention is, I will have a little bit of a left panel on the left where I can add my filters. And then I will have the rest of the stuff on the right. That is what I intend to do. Now let's introduce a another horizontal container. So let's introduce a blank first of all, because we want to demarcate our column, right? So we want to demarcate. So let's have this and edit the width. Oops. I think I need to add this again, probably. Yeah, let me just undo it. So we have this horizontal container, and I added a blank here. This should be 5. Okay. Okay, this was fixed height. That's why it's not. Yeah, it makes sense now. So we can go and remove the outer padding because I want it very thin. I can change the background. This, let's say, background. I will do it again. So we have a vertical container. In the vertical container, we have a horizontal one. So let's add another horizontal here. In this horizontal container, we have one blank. I will add another blank. Okay, this vertical container is not some. So we have a vertical container, right? And we have inside the vertical container, we have one horizontal where we have fixed the size and the other one where we have not fixed the size. So let's edit the height. Let's say 700. Does that work? Yes, it does. So we have one blank. I will be placing another blank here. So yeah, we were talking about the dashboard, right? So the left panel, I want to keep it as a vertical filter. So let me have a vertical filter over here. So let me add a vertical filter here. In fact, we have a horizontal filter. This is my horizontal filter. I will keep this as open here. And then I will also add a blank filter to this. This particular blank filter, I will get the initial padding to 0. Change the background to this color, and then edit the width to 1. And simultaneously, I will add a vertical filter, another vertical filter. So over here we have vertical filter and blank filter. So let me check, does this look good? Yes, this is the look I want. Perfect. Okay, and now that we have it, I will recreate the rest of the dashboard, and we can have another horizontal filter, over here, where I will be sharing, where I will be displaying all of my big aggregate numbers, the KPIs, right? The ones that the 3 numbers that we built, right? So let's keep the height to 80. I do not need more than that. So since I have 3, over here a little. Okay, now let's add the sheets, right? So this will first was the number of restaurants. Before that, I want to make it a little more, visually appealing. So I'll add an image first of all. So this is the horizontal container. I'll add an image first. I'm going to fit the image, center the image, choose, and for restaurants, I'll add this. Let the width of this image be 60, or at least 80 is fine. And then I will add the sheet itself, number of restaurants. And the width of the sheet, I will keep 150. And I believe this is already entire view. It is. So let me keep this at the center. This will be bold. This will be 12. And I'm liking the trebuchet font. So let me keep it. This number of restaurants 865. Right. Then we will add a divider, a dividing line over here. So let's add this line. Similar to this, basically this is what it's doing. I will edit the outer padding to 0, 0. I will edit the width to 1. I will change the background color to this shade of gray, and then I will increase the padding again to 50. Let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100. Basically, it is going to separate this KPI from the next one. Let's have the next KPI. Before that, we can add the image. The next one is what? The number of cities? Yes. So we can add the number of cities. Again, we want this to be 80. And let's add another one of our sheets, number of cities. This width will be 150. Also in values, so I don't need to worry about that. Center, trebuchet, MS, so okay, good enough. We can add another blank to this. basically you see where I'm going with this approach, right? I am just trying to build the top panel where it is going to, these KPIs are going to screen the insights or the summary of the insights to the stakeholders that are out there. So 100, and finally our last KPI that we are going to do. Let's keep it this. Or we need to add the picture. I can add the picture. This is going to be the number of cuisines. Let's add the picture. Fit, center. This is the picture that I want. 80. Oh, is there a space crunch? Probably is a space crunch. Maybe this should help if I extend it a little bit. This is 80, so this is fine. Get it to width to 150. Just fit it to entire view. So cuisines, go to cuisine text. Count distinct. So 90 cuisines out there. And I will let me get bold. This is no, not bold. This is 16. 80 is fine now. And let's change the alignment to center middle. It's appearing now. Yes, it is. I'll change the title also. Well, this is trebuchet. So this is the look we kind of have for our top panel, which is pretty good. Let's move it a little to the right. That was not right. Save it to Tableau public. Okay, now let's check out the other things that we have. So we have the average cost per tool, right? We have the average rating, the cost rating, the favorite cuisine, and the online delivery. These are the charts that we have, right? These are all of the charts that we have to place. So let's do that quickly. And since we have it here, I will also add another blank over here just to kind of separate it from the other slides that we have. I will add this containers here. The background will be this particular shade that I really like. 1. Height will be 1. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Now that we have it here, we want to include the other charts as well. So let's start from that. Let's have a vertical container here. And we want to display our map over here in this vertical container. So let's go to our layout. And by the way, we have this option of removing everything that we have done, right? So I'll just hide all the things that we don't need. And average cost, is this the map? Yes, I will place it here. I will zoom it. There we have. So I will zoom it, but again, I don't want the user to kind of do stuff with this to kind of zoom around. So I will disable that ability to zoom. I go to map options. I will remove the parent. Play with it, but they can't zoom. This will be trebuchet, 12, bold, center. I will add a separator. This as well. Okay. Adjusting the padding, I need to do that. I will add the background, change it to width 1, and then add some padding again. I think 8, 8, 1. Yeah, very good. And then I will go to the maps, the map layers. I don't want the base, I don't want the land. And also I don't want the outline of the map, so let's go outside and remove all of these sheets which are there. We remove the row divider and the column divider. Yeah, this is. Next up, we have the average rating. So for that, I will create a vertical container. For that, and we place it right around here. By the way, we can do another thing. So basically, this value that we have here, right, this is the vertical container. Let's add blank to it. We do need this, and let me get the floating. I don't need the title. I'll place it at the bottom. So remember this average cost per tool that we had here. Sorry, the BN, the big aggregate number. Let's also include this over here. So this will kind of give a very good look. Let's bring it over here. We do not need the title, the title is already here, it's the same. Entire view. Let's keep it here. And let's do something about the borders. So I think it will look good with borders. There you go. It's a bit too bright. We don't want that kind of a bright border. Let's have some, have a, yeah, this is 600. And then the statewide analysis. So we had this thing, right? We had this vertical container. Inside the vertical container, let's add a horizontal container. Then let's add a blank container. And yet another horizontal container. So the blank container acts as a divider, and we can change the background to this. We will modify the outer, oops, we will modify the outer padding to 0, 0, edit the height to 1. We are all set. Now we want the average rating. Let's hide all the charts which are not needed. These are the ones which are not for that. So we want the average rating. We will keep it here. Share 12. Okay. And then a divider over here. We will edit the width to 1. And then we will paste the next chart, which is the cost. So basically, everything related to cost and rating, we are placing at a similar thing, in a similar cost. Okay, so our blank is over here. We don't want it here. We want it here. And we can increase this. Edit the width to 1. So you have these zonal rating analysis, and then we have the costing rating. Okay, let's move on to the next part, to the ones below. And we'll be done with the dashboard in around 10 minutes or so, because very little stuff needs to be done. So we'll basically be placing 2 charts in this container, and then we'll be placing the filters down on the left. Okay, and let's move on with the online delivery chart. We have it here. Okay. There's a lot of lines that we don't want, so let's get rid of those. Let's get rid of the row divider. Let's get rid of the column divider. And there is a 0 line somewhere. That's gone. Yeah, it's gone. We add a divider. So we can edit the width to 1. Background is this shade of gray. And then we add our final chart. What was it? The preferred food. Add it over here. We don't need the labels. The preferred cuisine. Okay. And we need to do some editing with this also, because there are some lines that I don't want to see. So let's get rid of the grid lines, the 0 lines, and let's get rid of the row dividers. Did that do the trick? I believe it did. Yes, it did. And we have all of these legends accumulating here. We don't need them because we already have it there. Let's go here and we need to label this. So let's label this. Okay, so the charts are done. Now the charts are done, the KPIs are done. But we need to add the filters, right? We need to add the filters. So this was our vertical container. And inside the vertical container, we have this clamp. So let's expand this. Let's keep it to 150. That should be fine. And now let's add the filters, right? So in order to add the filters, just go to any chart. Just go to any chart. And let's say, what were the filters? They said that add the zonal analysis, right? If we have a look at the mail, they said that please include zonal analysis as well as by state and city. So let's add the zone. Let's add the zone. We add filters. We want all of the zones here. Okay. Let's add the state to the filters. All of the states. Let's add the city. All of the cities. Is there something else we can add? So I would say let's add the rating also. That's the rating text. The good, bad, not rated, etc., etc., etc. This also. Does it have table booking? This one also. Does it have online delivery? That is. Okay, fine. So we have added it to one chart. Now we need to add it to like apply it for all. So let me see if there is a way to apply everything. Is that possible? Apply to worksheets all using the data sheet. I don't think it was applied to all. Let me check. Yeah, it was. Never mind. That's okay. Now to bring those filters here. It's going to take a bit of time to do that. So let's bring those filters here. We are going to go to filters. Let's check out the zone first of all. The zone is here. Height to 20. So the zone is here, and then add the state. That's a big list. I don't want to show everything, so I'll just get it down to multiple values, and let's see something else. Let's see what all we have. We have zone, we have state, we also should have city. Did I not add city to this? Sorry. Yeah, I have city. There's a lot of cities. We can't accommodate all of them, so this will also have to be a drop down. We can have the rating text. Let's edit the value to rating, only rating. Let's add another one. Does it have table booking? Does it have table booking? Yes, no. And last but not the least, does it have online? And then all that needs to be done is you can apply these to all of the charts, and we are done with the dashboard. So let me save it so that we can kind of see what is the final look of our dashboard. So the process that we started around almost 2 hours ago, that has come to an end. Usually in a corporate setting, this will go over several days because you would create something, you want some feedback on it, etc., etc. But this we have done in 2 hours. And guys, please start using Tableau Project. You have to start using it. It is a great tool to kickstart your career in analytics. And I think that not many people use it as they should. So there we have it. This is our Zomato dashboard. And it's loading right now. There you have it. This is the Zomato dashboard. It's giving you high level information, various strands of high level information that the executive wants. And they also have the ability to sort through, filter through the stuff that they really want, filter the stuff that they don't want, and it's going to the dashboard. Okay, so this was there on the dashboard side. Without further ado, let's go back to our breaking into analytics. So this is so I don't plan to like spend a lot of time on this. This is just to give you sort of a direction on what to do. So the tech stack that you need, right? So for spreadsheet, if you want to break into analytics, or if you are in another role, if you're into another profession, and you want to start working with data analytics, and by data analyst, I mean, uh, you know, a business analyst, be a business intelligence engineer, or a data visualization specialist. So basically, for that you need these. So three things are must. One is the spreadsheet, so you can either use an Excel or the Google Sheets. Most of them, like these two, are very similar with very minute differences. Just like Google Sheets, it's more of a cloud concept. So you need to master both of them at least at the intermediate level. SQL is must. You like I cannot stress on how important SQL is. SQL is must. You need to have a great command over your SQLs, right? So you can use either Microsoft SQL Server, you can use MySQL, or you can use Postgres. We also have Google BigQuery that uses SQL. I would say you can go for it, but these three are the leaders. MySQL is the most used SQL engine actually across the industry. And then thirdly, you need some sort of a BI tool or business for data visualization. This can be either Tableau or Power BI, or you can use Click, and nowadays Astrato has come up. So there's a lot of people. Click used to be used a lot earlier. It's not, that used now. Mostly the market is captured by Tableau and Power BI. So I remember, like if you follow Sanjay Chandrasekhar on the LinkedIn, I remember he mentioned that there are around three times jobs in Tableau than in Power BI currently, but Power BI is also fast catching up because Microsoft is like dedicatedly developing this platform. Now there are people who say, should we go into Tableau? Should we go into Power BI? Which will be better? I would say um, choose any one of them. Both of them are incredible platforms. Don't think that whether if I choose one, then there are far better advantages for the other. At your level, at an entrance level, there are no advantages or disadvantages. Ultimately, you should be learning both, but maybe let's say for 2 or 3 years, just concentrate on one, and then learning the other one will also be quite easy for you. So you want either Tableau, go ahead for Tableau. You want Power BI, your friends are doing Power BI, go for Power BI. That's not a problem at all. Next, what are the key focus areas? So one is, of course, technical upskilling. These technical areas have to be like almost perfect for you, because there are lots of people in the market right now. There are lots of courses that are handing out degrees in business analytics and data science and all. But there's a lot of competition. So technical upskilling, you have to always, every day, every month, dedicate some time for that. Build up a project portfolio. This is the most important for technical upskilling. Project portfolio is a must. You have to build projects using the skills that you're doing. So basically, if you have learned Excel, build a model using Excel or Google Sheets. If you learned SQL, grab some great data set, grab a big data set, do some analysis on SQL, bring out some aggregation or some analysis on SQL, and put it in a GitHub or something. And then data visualization also, of course, you need to do that. So basically, for project portfolio, create a project, upload it on either GitHub or create a website using Wix. Do that. And of course, if you're a Tableau user, you can. So if you are a Power BI user, you can use Novi Pro for displaying your portfolio. If you're a Tableau user, Tableau Public is an excellent platform. But in any case, you have to create a project portfolio. So even if you are in a data science degree right now, and you do not have a portfolio, things are going to be very difficult. If you do have a portfolio, it's going to be quite like easier for you. Next up, we have the domain knowledge. Technical skills are not enough, so grab a domain, because technical skills are important only when you partner them with a domain, right? So if you're interested in FMCGs, go ahead and do something from that domain. If you are interested in let's say insurance, go ahead and do some analysis on that. If you're interested in arts and entertainment, grab data sets of that, do some analysis on that. But grab a domain and just get to know the concepts of that domain. Otherwise, you won't know what KPIs you have to use, what sort of charts you have to build, what sort of visualizations you have to on and reports you have to prepare, right? So domain knowledge is very important. This is something that gets ignored a lot, unfortunately. Yeah. And then again, networking is also very, very important. So article we have heard this, yeah, LinkedIn is a very negative place. People are posting there. You have this unrealistic stuff posted by HR, and people are posting their achievements and all. I know stuff can be negative, but LinkedIn is your most important tool when it comes to networking, because this is where you get access to other people's work, and this is where you show your work, right? And again, I know we're kind of past the time limits, but I guess we can have a few minutes. So I'll be taking some questions. Is there any questions? So Ravi says, phenomenal dashboard, thank you. I want to be a data visualization engineer. Yes, that is great, but do focus on your spreadsheets and your SQLs also. Data visualization alone will not guarantee you a job. I would encourage you to focus on the other stuff as well. That is part of the profile also. Yeah, go ahead. Any other questions?
And sir, beautiful dashboard you have created. Thank you so much, sir. I got 3 insights that how to build a proper dashboard in Tableau.
Thank you. The goal was that, and I look forward to seeing your work also.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, so I think you were asking about the Tableau public, right? So basically, so if you go to Tableau public, so Tableau public.
So we have a question from one of the participants here, Arpit.
Yeah.
How SQL used for data analysis? Can you give some live examples or something?
Yeah, so basically SQL in its live form is used when you create, let's say, some SSIS packages, right? So basically SQL is also an ETL tool. It can also be used as an ETL tool. So when you have, we rarely have Excel extracts in the industry, right? We rarely have that. Most of the data is in your SQL servers, in your relational databases. So when you want to direct that information into Tableau or Power BI, you would want to do certain transformations in SQL first, and then kind of layer it on top of Tableau or Power BI. And also, if you talk about SQL, you have SSRS, which is not that popular now, but it used to be very popular. SQL Server reporting services that uses SQL for getting reports. Yeah. SQL is very important because in the industry we don't really use Excel extracts. It is there from the information there in SQL Server, and you need to use that. So yeah, I was showing you Tableau Public, right? So for instance, you can take Tableau Public and GitHub are very important. So if you let's say go to GitHub. I have some visualizations out here. And you can create your own visualizations out here. For GitHub, you need to create it like this. Let's say this. So any work that you do, you upload it on GitHub. If you don't know how to use GitHub, there's a lot of resources out there. You can YouTube it. And any work that you do, you can upload it on GitHub as well. It's there, and it's much safer than on your computer. So do use GitHub and Tableau Public and Pro if you are into Power BI, and share it on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, there are so many challenges available. So you have the Naval Analytics Challenge, you have the Onyx Data Challenge, you have Data Omega Challenge, you have the Challenger Challenge. These are data visualization challenges that happen every month. So there's a question: is Tableau free? There is Tableau does have a free version. Tableau Public is free, right? So this Tableau Public is free. Tableau Desktop is not free. Tableau Desktop, Tableau Server, they are not free. They are for enterprise service. Tableau Public is absolutely free, and it has almost all of the features that you were ever going to use, even in the paid version. So I would encourage you to use it. So yeah, I'm talking about GitHub, right? So create GitHub, create a GitHub, create some repositories. So for instance, if you want to have, for instance, look at this table or a repo. So I have created a README for this. If anybody wants to have a look at my profile, they can have a look at this. Feel free to follow me on GitHub, Tableau Public. Send me questions on LinkedIn if you do have it. If you do have any questions or if you want help regarding how to pursue a career in data analysis or not, if there are anything I can do, go ahead. And as far as learning is concerned, there's a lot of free material out there. But to be honest, I would prefer that you go for a structured learning, which might not be free, because free will also get you there, but structured learning will get you there faster. So if you want to get there faster, I would suggest that you go for structured learning. Any other questions? Up to how much extent should we have SQL coding knowledge? Okay, sure. So I actually have a note and I can guide you towards that. Just I will tell you. So basically in SQL, if you have, let's say the basics, you have your joins, your left, right, inner, outer, self joins. You have the where clause, having clause. You have the group by, you have order by, you have union all, you have common table expressions, subqueries, window functions. You have your various type of ranks, rank, dense rank, row num. You have the primary key, a foreign key. If you're aware of these concepts, you can go ahead. So here's the thing. If you want to practice SQL, I would recommend that you go to either HackerRank or LeetCode. You have very simple questions and then very complex questions there. Yeah, it's going to level up gradually. It is excellent